Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to analyze Microstrategy stock. The ticker is MSTR and none of the content is financial advice, and how MSTR relates with the altcoin market and how it has impacted the altcoin season this time around. Let's get started. The MicroStrategy playbook is simple. They use Bitcoin on their balance sheet to boost their market cap. Their market cap is a function of the Bitcoin's price action and the number of Bitcoins they hold. Currently, the Bitcoins on their balance sheet is roughly speaking 600k, which corresponds to about 3% of the 21 million Bitcoin supply. The MNAV, which is how much of the Bitcoin's price action on the spot Bitcoin that is available at around 105 106k at this point. Again at around 107k today. The price has increased quite a bit. How is the price of Bitcoin in terms of spot price versus the versus the Bitcoin held on MicroStrategy's balance sheet differ? The difference is about 87%. The Bitcoin if on MicroStrategy's balance sheet is about 87% higher than the spot price of Bitcoin. That is because MicroStrategy offers a different exposure to Bitcoin than the spot Bitcoin purchases. So there are several reasons for this MNAV, which are out of the scope for this video, but this video focuses how this implied volatility for MicroStrategy, which is again has created a structural shift in the investor sentiment away from the potentially the hypothesis being that as MicroStrategy offers cleaner leverage that the altcoin market failed to offer in the past market cycles. The investors, especially the institutional investors, are using MicroStrategy and similar proxies, as well as miners, to absorb the role which altcoins used to play in the past cycle. The hypothesis in this video establishes on this direction is that in the bull market, like we are right now, MicroStrategy outperforms Bitcoin. So this is the MicroStrategy performance since they started buying Bitcoin. They started buying Bitcoin in August of 2020. I think the first purchase was on August 20 when they purchased 21,000 Bitcoin at that point in time. Again, back then the price of Bitcoin was much lower. Again, they started buying BTC somewhere over here, August 2020, when the price of their stock was at around $12, and the price of Bitcoin at that point in time in August 2020, you can see over here, so somewhere around lower $9,000 to $10,000. That the price of Bitcoin has done almost at slightly above 10x from that point in time when they started MicroStrategy started buying Bitcoin, whereas the stock price grew from $12 to about $380. So that is about a 30x, slightly more than 30x from the point of time of their purchase. That means in the bull market, the stock went higher than what it is today, so than what it was in 2020. So in the bull market, MicroStrategy outperforms Bitcoin. In the bear market though, so for example from February 2021 till about June or July of 2022, the stock crashed by about 89%, whereas Bitcoin crashed from the 2021 highs to the 2022 lows by about 77%. So in the bear market, MicroStrategy underperforms Bitcoin. In the bull market, it overperforms Bitcoin. At least that is what the case has been since they started purchasing Bitcoin. So the hypothesis is that MicroStrategy and similar proxies often offer a cleaner leverage play to Bitcoin, which altcoins fail to offer because again they avoid the on-chain complexity, custody risk, and also illiquidity of smaller caps of altcoin. Again, same logic applies to the miners as well. So basically the hypothesis for the retail investors or any institution is, why bother with high risk altcoins when you can buy a proxy for Bitcoin, again, which is legally available and traded on the stock market via traditional brokers. So that again the altcoin alpha has diminished quite a bit. You can see the Bitcoin dominance again coming right now at around 65%. That means almost 2/3 of the entire cryptocurrency market belongs to Bitcoin. That means almost of every $3 in the asset class, $2 belong to Bitcoin. One is amongst spent or allocated amongst millions of altcoins. So that's the difference right now that we are seeing in the asset class. Again, the alts are no longer keeping pace with Bitcoin, let alone outpacing Bitcoin. The total, this is the total three, that is everything apart from Bitcoin divided by Bitcoin. You can see it's about 39%. So again, it's closer to the lows. That means Bitcoin has outperformed, has outperformed the altcoin asset class ever since about November of 2022. Back then, the altcoins were worth slightly more than Bitcoin. So if the market cap of all the altcoins together was higher than Bitcoin, that it was at 1.06. Now it's up only about less than 40% of Bitcoin's market cap. So again, totally massive allocation of allocation of capital away from altcoins to Bitcoin. Again, that also means that people are more interested in tokenomics, as in no token dilution, no VC or venture capital unlocks, no copy paste projects, avoiding getting dumped on retail. Again, there are a handful of cryptos which did outperform Bitcoin from any one given particular time, that is in a shorter period time, but in the longer period time they haven't. Again, you could compare meme coins. Again, their pump lasts about a week or so, but then they are nowhere to be found. And in 2021 there was a period of time, again if you look at that from this lens, that was the previous post-halving year. Most of the altcoins were outperforming Bitcoin. That's why their market cap of the altcoins was, at least again since 2021 began, again back in over here, the market cap of altcoins went from 24% of Bitcoin's market cap to more than Bitcoin's market cap. So grew 4x. Whereas in 2025, which is this post-halving year, it declined from half of the Bitcoin's market cap to now closer to 40%. And potentially, if this downturn continues, that could gain some support at around 30% or so. That would be less than 1/3 of Bitcoin's market cap. So that's the trend. Again, altcoins were the leveraged Bitcoin play with worst fundamentals and various risks, such as investor getting dumped, scam projects, liquidity vanishing off, altcoins having a shorter term pump, and these kind of issues with the transparency that MicroStrategy has to offer, and also the clarity of Bitcoin related ETFs. At least again, there are always risks in the market, but overall speaking, putting everything in perspective, the regulatory clarity of ETFs, as well as ability to trade these assets on traditional, especially MSTR, on traditional finance platforms such as Fidelity, Schwab, and Robinhood, has all contributed, again at least from the price action perspective and from a fundamentals perspective, has all contributed to the favorable outlook. So you can see in terms of Fib level, MicroStrategy's stock has crossed the 4.23 Fib level, whereas again most of the altcoins are down over here. Bitcoin, again, although has not gone to this levels of 4.38 from the past cycles, this time around again at least has achieved at least 1.618, has made a new all-time high for this cycle, where most of the cryptos have not. And MicroStrategy even outpacing from the Fibonacci levels from this 2020-2021 Fibonacci levels. Again, this time around, again Bitcoin is up by several almost 1.618 levels, whereas MicroStrategy again doing much better than Bitcoin. Again, this is because it's in the bull market. You can see this is from the 2021 perspective. Even and the 2022 bottom. From that perspective also, the Fibonacci levels are much higher for MicroStrategy than even for Bitcoin. So which roles are MicroStrategy and the similar proxies following? They have a leveraged upside, dumps harder in the bear market. Again, there are higher risk with MicroStrategy than with Bitcoin, but have offered a simple and regulated exposure to Bitcoin, which altcoins failed to do so. Again, in this seasonality as well, looking at this current seasonality, the dominance of Bitcoin and the downturn for altcoins have made a compelling case for MicroStrategy. Again, not financial advice. This is the price of MicroStrategy since they started putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet from $12. Now it's up at around $380. If the trend were to continue, the machine learning models come up with the following forecast. This is the trend based forecast, that is, in the next 6 months, the price of MicroStrategy in this pink line, using machine learning models such as Seasonality, Mile, STM, and XGBoost, and using machine learning and confidence level techniques, all things constant, the trend behind the price action forecasted is between $380 to about $700. That's the price action forecasted in the next 6 months, the last half of the H2 or half 2 of 2025. That's the machine learning based forecast for MicroStrategy without any mania phase in the market. If there is a mania or a euphoria phase in the next 6 months, the price, you can take an average of these at the end at between $460 and about $6,000. Again, instead of a 6,000 outlandish claim, it's the interpretation of this model is taking an average of 700 and 6,000, takes at around 6,700 divided by 2 at around $3,400. That's more digestible bullish target. Again, a euphoria case does not last for 6 months. So if there is a euphoria case for only 3 months, the target, let's say at a base of around $500 or $600, a base from that point, from July till about, let's say, September, takes the base at around $1,700 in a case of a muted euphoria for MicroStrategy. That's about a 6x from the current price. On the other hand, if there is a bear case in the next 6 months, if there is a downturn in the next 6 months, the support for MicroStrategy is between $180 to about $317. If you're interested in looking at that in a tabular view, that is also available at the bottom. All of the content on this website is available for free, cryptoweeklies.com. You don't have to pay or sign up for anything. In terms of a longer term retirement related model, again, as MicroStrategy is highly correlated with Bitcoin, its performance is a function of Bitcoin's price action, and Bitcoin is not immune to seasonality. So for example, over here, Bitcoin's price action in 2025 looks quite different from 2024 and 2023. The last post halving year was 2021. So let's compare since 2021. What has Bitcoin done? The post halving year again was up. At one point it was up from yearly open at around 130%, but closed at around 60% positive. In the midterm year or the year after the post halving year, the performance usually, again, you can compare this with 2018 as well. The 4-year cycle theory was down by about 65% in 2023, again up by about 150%. 2024 similar to 2023, up by about 111% from the yearly open. So the seasonality that Bitcoin gets affected by, in this model, MicroStrategy is also said to be affected by the similar seasonality, and helps kind of tune out the noise to say, let's say if MicroStrategy were to grow 45% year over year for the 3 years, and 1 year takes a dump of about 50% due to, again, the unfavorable seasonality that was established in 2022 and 2018. A similar year ahead of us in 2026, with the base saying that in 2025 the price closes somewhere close to that $900 target. In 2026 goes to 450, a 50% decline in 2029, 1300 in 2033, about 2k in 2037, about 3k. Again, this is a very conservative model in terms of how many MicroStrategy stocks would be needed in that price action. If that price action were to pan out in 2025, around 1,000 shares of MicroStrategy, slightly higher than that, would make 1 million in 2029, less than 750 in 2033, less than 500 in 2037, around 300 shares of MicroStrategy would be worth $1 million per the model. In the case that MicroStrategy and Bitcoin grow not at 45% and year over year, let's say Bitcoin grows 40% year over year, again MicroStrategy offers, historically speaking, higher outperforms in the bull market, higher returns in bull market, and gets dumped harder in the bear market. Let's say the operational mechanics is that 55% year over year growth in the 3 years and 60% downturn in the bear market year for MicroStrategy. Again, if Bitcoin falls by 50%, MicroStrategy could easily, historically speaking, fall by 60%. So with a base of instead of topping out at around $900, this model says that in 2025, in this scenario of the model says, with 55% year over growth, price action stabilizes at around 1,082 in 2029, around 1,600 in 2033, around 2,500 in 2037, around 3,500. The with this use case or this scenario, the number of MicroStrategy's shares needed to be a millionaire would be less than 1,000 in 2025, in 2029 less than 625 in terms of 2033, less than 400, around 420 in 2037, around 275. So that's the retirement related model available for MicroStrategy based on the price action. And the DCA model, which is the regression based valuation for and risk color coded with respect to price action and the fair value regression line. The risk levels back in March and February to March of 2020, February to early April of 2025 were less than 20%. Now the risks are elevated at around 53%. If they were to go close to that 100% target, the price could be somewhere between $500 and $535 for MicroStrategy. So the base case to look for is price action if it goes to that higher end of the previous all-time high or close to the October-November 2024 highs at around 530. Then in the next target per the machine learning based model is at around price action around 700. The conservative case is at around 900. The optimistic case is somewhere close to between 1100 and 1700 for the stock. And with that, I'd like to conclude the video. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.